I'm curious from today's sports topic. I don't know how this one happens in 2023. I asked this question genuinely of the audience and everyone listening. Bob Huggins, what are you doing? I mean,
Huggy?
Seriously, he can't survive that, right? Going on live radio and being so casual with your language that you just, in 2023, you're so immune as an old guy coach, used to being in tracksuits and jumpsuits, overseeing empires. You've been running the dirty game of basketball for a while by being better at getting the athletes. You have, for 30 years, made money in that sport, in the dirty, dirty shadows of mercenaries, and you're so comfortable with your power that at 69 years old, you go on a live radio show and don't know enough to not throw in just casually a homosexual, like a slur like this, a homophobic slur.
A homophobic slur. I'm going to play for you the entire 1 minute and 45-second bit because, believe it or not, there's actually more going on than the headliner here. There's so many offensive things that go on just in this segment alone, and it all goes unchecked.
Hello.
Coach Bob Huggins, you're on the air. I'm sitting here with Steve Muller and the Segman.
What would make you think I wanted to talk to you?
Hey, Coach. Now, we're telling Huggins stories, but we had a cut at which you kind of took a little shot at me as not being a trustworthy person. Would you want to revise and extend those remarks?
Absolutely not.
Hey, Hubbs, I told him I thought it was misunderstood, taken out of context.
It was out of context.
I don't know. It must have been my thoughts at the time.
Now, Steve also tells me that you have the best portal transfers. Have you poached any Xavier guys to come to play for West Virginia?
Catholics don't do that.
No, we're above the fracas, aren't we? No problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I tell you what, any school that can throw rubber penises on the floor and then say they didn't do it, my God, they can get away with anything.
Rubber penis. Was this
I think that was at the Crosstown Shootout, wasn't it?
It was transgender night, wasn't it?
What?
Was that it?
It was a crosstown shootout. Yeah, no, what it was all those Catholic. I think so.
All right.
They were envious they didn't have one.
Well, Steve, your comments about Bob Huggins. Is he the best?
He's the best.
The best ever. Is he the best assistant coach you ever had? Steve Muller.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, anybody who can rent 2 rooms, get a chair, put a pizza in between the 2 rooms so that he can talk to Herb Jones for 2 days, he's the best.
How much are you guys cringing listening to that? Like, my body is tensed up in a way that's making muscles hurt because of the amount of Chuckle Fest wincing I'm doing.
Yeah, the announcers were enabling him, right? They were yucking it up right along with him.
I mean, they said coming in, you're on the air, so he can't blame them saying, "Oh, I didn't know I was on the air." Like,
I don't know how many conversations he has with Ludacris's Southern Hospitality going on underneath the
Was
entire
that all
time.
one cut?
Yeah, what was that?
Was that a radio? If people listen to that?
Someone says a homophobic slur, you typically don't hear, "Isn't he the best?" Like right after that.
But like they were panicking.
It almost sounds like parody, though, like how you would write that if you were trying to be a comedy writer.
And with a trans barb,
yes.
like beforehand, like it was already problematic before the word.
Is he going to survive that? Because Bob Huggins, I don't know where you guys place him. He hasn't won a ton of the championships, but this is a name and face for college basketball for 30 years, works the underbelly. Winningest coach in Cincinnati history, made Cincinnati matter. Cincinnati didn't have any reason to matter before Bob Huggins was there. He's had two jobs where he makes a lot of money, being the power center for an economy that just got dirtier, more out in the open, and this is exactly how you age out. Jim Boeheim got left behind in his 80s as a college basketball builder where you don't even know at the end whether Syracuse is getting rid of him, whether they've told him. It's a confusing exit. He stumbles out the door. The old guard has felt free and empowered to be the old guard and speak that way publicly, privately for a long time. Bob Huggins can't survive that, right? Bob Huggins isn't going to keep his job because he's a big basketball name in that economy, and in some precincts or with some constituencies, he's just being a free man in Dean Cain's America, as the former Superman tells us, as people are being shot all over the place. Again and again, another day, Dean Cain says that he'd rather be in a dangerous freedom than where it is that he is, where he feels like he is now without a gun, which is a safe slave.
Yeah, a peaceful slavery was his phrase, as if anything about slavery was peaceful.
We don't have freedom though. We're living in tyranny. We're going to public places and having the spot where the exits are, and our children are doing drills in school in preparation in the event that a mass shooter shows up. That is not freedom. That is tyranny.
And we're making a leap, right, from that story to this one. But Bob Huggins was comfortable enough at a microphone. I don't even know how that happens now, unless he feels like it's a safe space, like that his audience is a safe space, that he doesn't understand how the internet works, that he's not just going to be talking to his constituency.
It's happening because people aren't using those slurs necessarily publicly, but like the joke that you heard the hosts make of transgender night. I mean, that's the proverbial boogeyman right now with this group of people, and there's this carte blanche in the same way that there was in terms of being publicly racist that was cool to come back. Being publicly homophobic seems to be perfectly fine, and Bob Huggins should not keep his job after this. Like, he flatly should not keep his job after this. And the fact that we even have to have a conversation about whether or not he might is an indictment of where we are at the moment. But those things, like, this isn't just old guy says thing. There are plenty of old guys in coaching and anywhere else who wouldn't go on radio and use slurs toward entire communities. It's unacceptable.
He has to think he was off air, though, right? I mean, it's terrible that anyone would
they warned him going in.
It's just like, what kind of idiot? Like, not only are you like hateful, but you're also an idiot.
Huge idiot, hugely hateful. He has survived different scandals in his past surrounding his drinking, and maybe we should bring that up because that was a terrible lapse in judgment. That is not what his statement says. He put out a statement 2 hours ago apologizing profusely for it, and he says that I've coached my entire career saying that there are consequences for my actions.
Yeah, and that's the first step, right? When you put out the public statement, that's the first step in your demise. But I think the money is going to fire him, right? I mean, the school is going to hear from sponsors. They're going to hear from, alumni. They're going to, if there's pressure on him that speaks with money, they will fire him.
Here's a statement. As I've shared with my players over my 40 years of coaching, there are consequences for our words and actions. I will fully accept any come in my way. I am ashamed and embarrassed and heartbroken for those I have hurt. I must do better and will. In a separate statement, West Virginia's athletic department said Huggins' remarks were insensitive, offensive, and do not represent the university's values. Coach Huggins has apologized. West Virginia does not condone the use of such language and takes the actions very seriously. The situation is under review and will be addressed by the university and its athletic department.